Hello. Today in the Quick Tip series, I want to talk about more centered hits. That means getting the golf ball more out of the center of the club face. Avoid those shanks, those toe hits, get more smash factor, more distance. I'll be back with just a moment with the way you can do that. Hello. If you're struggling to get the golf ball out of the center of the club, the first thing you've got to do is not beat yourself up too much, because if you think about the length of the golf club and the size of the golf ball, it's quite an impressive feat to actually do it. But there's a couple of major things which will actually increase your smash factor to make it easier to get into the middle of the golf club and therefore a little bit more distance out of the same swing speed. So how do you do it? Well, the very first thing is really to find out, are you hitting it more in the toe or are you hitting it more in the heel? Obviously, if you're shanking the golf ball and it's disappearing out to the right, it's quite simple to see. But to actually get a good idea of where you're hitting it, either you're going to need a TrackMan, which will actually give you impact position, or a GQ quad, or what the majority of people use is just a little bit of face tape, they call it. Even if you just use a little bit of spray on the plate, this kind of powder spray which you use basically on your feet, you can use in there. It's just basically like putting talcum powder on the face, and you can then actually see where your impact position is. Once you actually know what you're not doing or you're doing that you don't want to be doing, then you can actually start on the work. Maybe the first thing and the easiest thing to change is to have a look at your club length. If you are playing the wrong length of golf club, that might be one of the reasons that you aren't hitting the golf ball out of the center. And just as a rule of thumb, if you're hitting the golf ball a little bit out of the heel, the club might be a little bit too long for you. And if you're hitting it out of the toe, it might be a little bit too short for you. So maybe first of all, just look at the length of your golf clubs. An average hand to ground or wrist to ground measurements around about 34 inches. There you should be playing around about a standard length of golf club. If you are further away from the ground from that, you should be playing a little bit longer. Obviously shorter from the ground, you can think about maybe playing a shorter golf club. If the golf clubs are fine, then they can only be on your swing. And let's start with the simplest fix, which is basically I'm hitting it out of the toe. If I'm hitting it out of the toe, what that usually means is I'm not allowing my back to round when I go into impact. One of the curiosities of the golf swing is, although we're pressing out of the ground with our feet, even straightening our legs, the center of our chest should remain the same distance or more or less the same distance away from the ground during the swing. The only way that this can happen is basically as I rotate, I'm allowing my upper body to round through impact. When you look at it from the biomechanics, what's actually happening is your thighs are pressing backwards, causing your pelvis to tilt slightly, which will actually kind of throw the lower back forward. Now, obviously, because your back is made up of a lot of different vertebrae, these vertebrae don't stay straight, but they basically, the shock wave kind of travels along them. And because your head is proportionately heavier than any other part of your back, that will actually go down. And if you look at especially people like Rory, you can actually see as he goes through the golf ball that his head goes down. And this allowing to your spine to bend in the downswing and to bow is one of the ways to actually get the golf ball in the middle of the club face. So if you're hitting from the toe, let your upper body bow, and that should get you back in the center of the golf club. If, on the other hand, you're hitting it more out of the heel, in exceptional positions you're tending to shank, the first thing you want to look at is more, what are you trying to do? If you've been brought up trying to swing from the inside, this is one of the major reasons for socketing or shanking the golf ball or hitting it out of the heel. What's actually happening is, rather than your hips rotating, getting that left hip back out of the way and pulling your hands around your body so that you can release the golf club against the golf ball, you're sliding into it and dropping this right shoulder. That basically gives you no room, and your hands will be moving out. You might even be intentionally trying to swing out towards kind of 1 or 2 o'clock. And that is basically inviting a heel impact or shank. How do we change that? Well, the main thing is to get your hips rotating again. And as I've said in many videos, this is going to have a lot to do with how your legs are working. Your left leg wants to be pushing the left hip back. Your right leg is pushing the right hip forward. And if you can get that happening, the big trick is to allow your hands to follow your body. And this is the reason that I have this noodle here, the swim noodle. What we do there is we grip the bottom of the swim noodle, put it over our shoulders, and what you want to imagine, if that was the club angle to the ground, the shaft plane, you can see the path that my hands should be following. And if my hands follow this path, it will actually allow me to get the golf club back down towards the ball. I don't want to be moving my hands out towards the target because the golf club will be pushed out to the right. I want the feeling of them following my body around, and that way I'm actually getting the club back square against the golf ball. So if I do that now with a golf ball, you'll actually see what actually is happening. I take it back, go into the move, and then I'm pulling the club here around my body and hitting it. The feeling is hitting it with a complete shaft that way. This is pulling the heel away from the golf ball around my body, and that will help me to get the impact position back in the center of the golf club rather than in the heel. Also helps me to keep lag tension on the golf club, which gives me control over the golf club, de-lofts the club, and that's all going to create a better smash factor. If you're not hitting it out of the center of the club, find out where you're hitting it. If you're hitting it more in the toe, you want to be working on this bowing of the body. If you're hitting it out of the heel, you want to be working on getting your hands around your body and allowing the club to release naturally, so you're coming in with the club head against the golf ball and you're not pushing your hands out away from your body and causing it to hit the heel of the club, and in the worst case scenario, the shank. Hope this helps you. Just a quick one. If you did, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, do that. If you want to get notifications when I put a new video online, press the little bell. I'll leave my philosophy on golf up here in the top left-hand corner. You can download that for just 99 cents. See you all very shortly. All the best and bye-bye.